Full confession here. I watched this in the middle of July. I just needed some Elf in me. No, let me rephrase that. I needed...
That's going to be taken out of context in a few years.
Put that on a shirt. No.
Hello there.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.
Talk to me, Goose.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Why so serious?
World! I could do this all day.
Are you watching closely?
Welcome, everybody, to the One Night Film Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Mossberg, and we are excited to bring you an episode about Elf today. Josh is already grinning ear to ear because apparently he likes this movie a little bit.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It is. Okay, hot take here real quick. Elf is the best Christmas movie.
It's a Wonderful Life.
No.
Josh.
I hear Elf quoted 10 times more than any other Christmas movie.
Because it's living rent-free in your head is why you hear it all the time.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Like, low-key, I'm pretty sure, like, Elf and The Emperor's Groove are, like, two of the most foundational films in Joshua's brain development.
And I wear it on my sleeve. So during Christmas, I'm Elf. Every other time of the year, I'm Kronk.
There you go.
Goose Goose, boys and girls especially. Go, Goose Go. Now, boys.
We're not
Oh,
talking
we
about
can do
Emperor's
that one
New
of
Groove. We're talking about Elf today, and I was reluctant to do this. Also, Merry Christmas. That's the whole reason we're doing it. It's Christmas time, and it's time to do a few Christmas episodes, but we also want to savor some of them. I've had some suggestions for Christmas episodes, and I'm like, let's separate them throughout the years, because hopefully we'll be doing this for a couple more years. And so we'll do a couple this year, a couple next year. We'll go through them. So we did do a Christmas episode last year. It was on Spirited, which was an Apple TV exclusive, but it was a really good movie. Classic Ryan Reynolds movie. Lots of sometimes crude comedy, but honestly a really good message. So go watch that movie and listen to that this Christmas season. But we have Elf this week, one more Christmas movie next week, and then we'll be back we're going to do some New Year stuff. I'm excited for the New Year stuff because we're going to look back at the episode where we predicted 2023 movies and see what we got wrong. That one's going to be fun, and then we're going to make 2024 predictions. So look forward to that. That's coming soon. But today, we're talking about Elf. I hate to be a wet blanket. I saw Elf for the first time 2 Christmases ago, and I know I was late to the party. I was so underwhelmed. I was like, people like this and watch it every year. It's not.
Take it back. Take it back.
I won't. I'm sorry. I can dislike things.
Yeah, but you're just wrong when you dislike them. You can dislike it all you want, but that doesn't change the fact that your opinion is wrong.
You can have a different opinion. It's just invalid.
My gosh.
Bars.
That's why I have you two on here, is because I will not give glowing reviews of this movie. We kind of rate our movies on this podcast as, will you watch it again? I will not watch it again voluntarily. If it's a bunch of friends, I will gladly join in the laughter. I will not watch this by my own choice.
Full confession here. I watched this in the middle of July. I just needed some Elf in me. No, let me rephrase that. I needed...
That's going to be taken out of context in a few years.
Put that on a shirt. No. Elf is such a contagiously joyful movie. That's why it's just so much fun. I absolutely love Buddy the Elf. He's just chaotically nice and lovable. And I think during the Christmas season, that is something that you should most definitely be trying to live up to.
I'm not saying I don't like those things. I'm saying the movie didn't vibe with me.
So you just have poor taste.
Stop roasting me on my own podcast.
Yes, kind of curious about like why I don't know if you don't like Elf or just like not appealing towards you, because I mean I will say it's not like necessarily my favorite film, but like it is a very just sit down and just watch and laugh and have a good time type of film because it's just funny. So I'm curious, like what is it about the film that like you just don't vibe with?
I will admit it is a pretty poorly made movie. It's so childish, but P-Brain Joshua loves that. I know that Seth's big degree in animation is not a huge fan of this movie because, I mean, it's pretty simple at its core. Just spread Christmas cheer for all to hear.
Yeah. I expected, the first time I watched it only a couple years ago, to be rolling on the floor laughing because people said it's super funny and charming and all that. It wasn't. It was a chuckle movie for me. It's a Will Ferrell movie. What do you think? It's all that it is some one-liners and some slapstick comedy. I'm sorry to everyone who loves Elf, including you guys. I'm trying not to let that define this episode. I want you guys to talk about what you like about it and stuff like that.
I will hopefully forgive you tomorrow or sometime during Christmas. But
I do have one question, though, not to continue to push you down for your wrong ideas, but it's okay.
Why not? Keep going.
And just be honest. Did you laugh more when you watched Barbie or when you watched Elf?
I laughed so much at Barbie.
Okay.
You were there. You saw me.
Yeah, I know, but when I watched Elf in July, I was crying. You know, I'm starting to think that this is a huge reflection of my character and just what I choose to enjoy.
Like I said, foundational in Joshua's brain development.
You know, scripture is the foundation, but there's a second layer of foundation. That's Elf in Emperor's New Groove.
I think these are just childhood movies that you watched, and they made you so happy that there's no choice but a chemical reaction in your brain. Like, it's not even just thoughts of I like this. It's an addiction. It's not quite. It's like a yearly addiction.
Big Elf say word, big happy. That's basically it.
Okay, one last thing about me not really liking it that much. Even if millions of people like it and think it's a good movie, unlike me, I don't think it's anywhere close to being the annual tradition like White Christmas or the Nativity Story. I don't think it's at that level.
Okay,
it shouldn't be at that level.
Because my family does actually watch White Christmas every year, and I think I'd probably agree with you that. But like again, though, I think Elf is just a really good put it in, go haha, laugh type of film. And I think the thing about Elf, though, is like because it is more of a comedy type of a thing, it can be like you could be, I don't know, Josh in July who's distraught about life and needs to watch it at like 3 p.m. or something, or 3 a.m.
It was probably like 3 a.m. when I watched it too. Yeah, in my family, we actually watch Elf before we watch White Christmas or anything like that. Elf is one of the first ones, right after Die Hard. Usually, but
actually, I don't watch
Christmas
that.
is a weird time, but
yeah.
I will agree that Elf is not nearly the level of tradition that any other Christmas movie really has. Like even some of the old Play-Doh animation Christmas movies, like those have more traditional value than Elf. Although I would argue Elf has a lot more influence in the culture as of recently, because I see Elf everywhere whenever I go to stores or something. Like Elf has kind of become the face of movies for Christmas movie. When I think of a Christmas movie, I think of Elf. Can you say otherwise?
You're not wrong. That doesn't mean I like that.
It's just the way that it is.
Yeah. When did Elf come out? Because that's like an early 2000s, or is it like a later 2000s?
2003.
Okay, so it's an early. Yeah, so it's actually pretty old now.
You weren't even born, buddy.
Nice.
Wait. No, were you born? You were born in 2003?
I was born in 2004. No, it is older than me, and I just don't know if I like that info. It's just I don't know how to take it.
I did see something about Will Ferrell saying that he can never like walk the streets of New York in December because he'll just get mobbed. More than just being a celebrity, but because he is Buddy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He is
I mean,
that
you do
special
make a pretty interesting point that like Elf is a unique type of film, and I think it also is pretty endearing of the type of like kind of weird Christmas films that are becoming like more of the Christmas genre. Like especially in the past few years, there's been a lot of like violent Christmas films. Mm-hmm. Like we had like Die Hard's like
Violent Night.
Yeah, like I actually just watched that 2 nights ago. But then there's another one this year, which was Silent Night, which is like John Wick at Christmas. And so there's like this, and there's just like weird like films that take place are released in Christmas season, and they're not really Christmassy films. That's probably a topic for another episode. But yeah,
Christmas movies have gotten weird in the last couple of years, and part of it has become our departure from Christ and the true meaning of Christmas. That's not to say all of these Christmas movies that focus on Santa and elves and stuff aren't fun, as long as you remember that it's still all about Jesus. You can have fun with the fake fictional lore of the American traditional Christmas while acknowledging that Jesus is still the reason for the season. As every cringy church sign says and reminds you all throughout December, Jesus is the reason for the season. But it's true to keep that in mind while we're seeing all of the identity of Christmas put in things that are not of Jesus. Remember that. But I would say the redeeming factor of Elf is definitely the father-son relationship that I think is so cool to watch Buddy in his innocence try and win the appreciation of his dad and being so persistent about that. That's almost the opposite of how our relationship with God is like. we are the ones who are stubborn and don't want anything to do with him naturally, and it's him who's pursuing us, and it is only through him that we desire him in return. So it's similar but opposite. I still think it's a worthy comparison.
I like that. I got nothing else to just bars.
Look at some quotes
bars.
And give me some inspiration, or give yourself some inspiration.
I gotta go.
Treat every day like Christmas.
You stink. You smell like beef and cheese. You don't smell like Santa.
I smell like beef.
I smell like beef.
Okay, I mean, it is actually kind of like just interesting that like you have like the father-son dynamic, which is kind of like, you know, the father's kind of like Scrooge almost, right? It's not like hates Christmas. He's just like, you know, the workaholic and stuff like that. Then like he has just like his son who's like this elf or whatever. And it's interesting how that actually kind of parallels with relationship with his adopted father, like the elf guy who raised him, and then how that also is kind of paralleled with like his relationship with Santa as well. Because like in the end, like he's both trying to like, elf is like very much trying to like just please everyone that he meets, especially his father figures in a lot of different ways. And like, I mean, like in the film, like the comedy, like supposed to be that like he doesn't understand like the context for a lot of this stuff. Like, you know, and like in the one occasion he actually does rise up to the challenge where like Santa's sleigh gets crashed. Which, by the way, I just gotta say, it was really funny though when like the horses showed up and they like played it like super dark and mysterious. I was like, wow, really?
What are you smirking about?
It's just every single quote. It's all pure gold. I'm sorry I ruined your lives and crammed 11 cookies into the VCR.
Like, how do you not find that funny?
Okay, I would love to have a schedule like Elf. Listen to this. I planned our whole day. First, we make snow angels for 2 hours, and then we go ice skating, and then we'll eat a whole roll of Toll House cookie dough as fast as we can. And then to finish, we'll snuggle. Tell me that doesn't sound like a good day. Man.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I apologize, Will. Truthfully, I wasn't really listening because I was just reading through some of this. Does that make you sad?
No.
Does somebody need a hug?
No, it's okay. I hug myself.
That's okay. Good for you.
I am my own hugger.
I'm impressed.
I think what was kind of cool about production of this movie, two things that are worth noting. They did a lot of perspective shots similar to The Lord of the Rings, which was coming out at the same time. So they were figuring out those techniques. I don't think they were as advanced because there weren't as many. The elves, the real elves were only in certain shots and not the whole thing. Whereas in The Lord of the Rings, they were everywhere. So it was a little less intensive, but they still had to learn a little bit from production of Lord of the Rings, I'm sure, and how to utilize that. The other thing is it came out, I think, last year, that Buddy's exploration of New York was just Will Ferrell running around being in character just in New York. I don't think that could happen now because of how social media has changed. When there is a movie filming in the area, people will record it and not say ruin it, but usually film sets are blocked off so people can't just walk into frame or whatever. But with a situation like that where they just tell Will Ferrell to run around and we'll follow you with a camera, I think it would become more of a mob of people trying to get in on the movie and realizing what they're doing without playing it off. It's just something that has changed over the last 20 years, which I'm realizing Elf is now 20 years old, and somebody's going to make a big hoot about that online. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just...
Some of those people are just con-headed Ninny Muggins trying to ruin a movie. Thankfully, Elf's chaotic energy is just great.
Okay, you guys keep saying Elf. You mean the movie title, not the character. The character's name is Buddy.
I should say Buddy. I'm sorry. I call him Elf, even though he's not an elf. He's a human dressed in an elf costume.
That's true. I forgot that that's his actual roots.
Yeah, well, like that's supposed to be like the whole gimmick is like, imagine if there was an elf, but it was a human, and he has to go back to New York to reconnect with his father. And yeah, that's the whole thing. So
that's the whole thing. That's the premise of the movie.
I think the other thing to take away from Elf is that it shows the innocence of a child. Yes, Buddy hasn't grown up to be an adult, but in some sense you can also say that he's got childhood experience, and in our definition, childhood faith, Jesus said that if you are like the least of these, like these little children, that's what you need to be my child. You don't need to be a scholar, a theologian to be a good Christian. You just need to have faith like a child. And Buddy shows that innocence of just everything's right with the world. There's no, it's almost like Barbie before she realizes that death is coming.
Yeah.
She's just not a care in the world, and everything's good. But it's a little reflective of that, I would say, of having childhood faith, and not saying don't question anything, but also just being mature enough to realize that that's all you need is just faith.
Well, because like one of the things about Buddy though is that like he's obviously very childlike, but like everything he does is motivated by like love for others. I mean, obviously, like he again like has no context for what's going on. He messes up a couple of things, especially when with the dwarf writer and that whole sequence. But yeah, like that's the whole thing about Buddy is like he just like, you know, he wants to make people happy and smile and like have a fun day and things like that. And it's like it's somewhat endearing about him.
That's just really well said. I think just being able to simplify everything, and it's a choice. You can just choose to like look past all of the things going wrong with the world. Obviously, it's much easier said than done, but like Buddy, his innocence is just keeping him in a constant state of just nice, and kind of gives you a little bit of that nostalgic feeling. At least I do, because I grew up watching Elf. I grew up like with that sort of just regular Christmas movie watching, and it was fun to kind of see a little bit of my childhood in Buddy, because I mean, I miss innocence. I'm by no means innocent now because I'm in college, and the real world is I'm not even in the real world. I'm still like on a Christian campus, and I am thankful for that. But I don't know, it's very refreshing to see someone like Buddy just living his life as fullest as can be, eating rolls of Toll House cookie dough, and I'm like, man, that right there that's the kind of energy I want to have, and it's
You want the energy of a sugar high.
Yeah, well, when you stick to the four main food groups of candy cane, candy corn, and syrup, that you're gonna have that much energy. I'm telling you, he's cracked the health code for diabetics.
What I also kind of love about Buddy is like the fact that like, you know, he is very childlike, but he's also like really capable in like certain specific niche things, like singing a little bit, fixing stuff for Santa's sleigh, I guess, but also like just the arts and crafts thing.
Snowball fights. He is a monster. I want to have a snowball fight with him. Or him versus Mark Rober.
Which one's that?
Win. Mark Rober is the engineer YouTuber.
Don't know. Don't care.
You live under a huge rock. Wow.
Yeah. But I didn't even know that apparently like
Seth,
there's...
you know who Mark Rober is, right? Seth, you know him, right?
Yeah, no, I love Mark Rober. Josh, were you aware, I guess Will too, I'm not excluding Will from this conversation. Were you aware that there was plans for an Elf sequel, and Will Ferrell turned it down because he knew that it would ruin the original?
That's a good guy. See, you got my hopes like confused as soon as you said there was talks about an Elf 2, because I didn't hear anything about that. But Elf, it's a one-of-a-time thing. You cannot try and create a second one and piggyback off of the success, because it's going to crash and burn.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any reboot attempts nowadays, because I know that there's like an Elf musical, which is another weird, interesting thing that there's a musical about it. But yeah, I wonder if there's any attempts to like make a new movie about it.
Yeah, I'm looking at Wikipedia, the source for all objective information. There was a Broadway musical in 2010. There was an animated special, Buddy's Musical Adventure, an hour-long stop-motion animated musical. Mark Hamill was in that one. Jim Parsons and others. There was a video game.
I might be having to get on that.
Only if you have a Game Boy Advance.
I can get a Game Boy Advance.
I think I have
The
one,
game
actually.
received generally negative reviews.
They have not had a Joshua Swanson play it yet.
The players had to collect candies throughout the levels while avoiding various objects and polar bears, while several levels consisted of minigames such as flying Santa's sleigh or engaging in a snowball fight. That's amazing. They were planning a sequel to the film called Buddy Saves Christmas in 2013. Farrell said that he did not want to make a sequel. 2016, Favreau, who directed the movie, stated the sequel could still happen. The next month, Farrell reiterated that a sequel was unlikely and stated that he was generally reluctant to do sequels unless there was a story that justified it. On 2020, they stated that Farrell and Favreau did not get along, so they just scrapped the movie. But I definitely think that that's one of the cases where, similar to The Mask and The Son of the Mask is one name that comes up, of one very well-known first installment of a movie, and then the sequel not having the same actor and doing terrible and just having less heart than the original.
You gotta be able to keep the same actor.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a tale as old as time. Like we've mentioned before, like, Hollywood does whatever it can to make more money. Nowadays, it's just, like, reboots and live actions. But, like, traditionally, it's always, like, the sequel, the dreaded sequel, which is usually worse because either, you know, it's just a cash grab or they have a different actor or whatever. So I think it's definitely a good thing that they didn't try to make a sequel for that. But I wonder if in like 30 years by that point, if they will have made a modern reboot by that point, which would be interesting.
The only reboot that I would accept is Ryan Reynolds in the position of Buddy. That's the only acceptable reason. And mainly just for the one scene where Elf pulls his pants down, never mind.
Hey now.
Okay.
Chill. People listen to this.
Yeah.
Try not to laugh challenge with Elf.
Okay. I've got 35 of the best Elf quotes, and I've already said a few, so we're just going to say a few. I traveled through the 7 levels of the candy cane forest, past the sea of twirly swirly gumdrops, and then I walked through the Lincoln Tunnel. Nothing? Okay.
Try again.
I thought we could make gingerbread houses and eat cookie dough and go ice skating and maybe even hold hands.
Every Christian couple ever.
Got him.
That's good.
That's a good one, Will. I'm proud of you for that one.
Okay, this is Leon the Snowman talking to Buddy. Of course you're not an elf. You're 6'3" and have had a beard since you were 15.
15, lucky him.
This place reminds me of Santa's workshop, except it smells like mushrooms and everyone looks like they want to hurt me.
Oh, yeah, 'cause was that like the prison or the bar? No, that's the
That's
mail
the part
room.
where he put syrup in his coffee.
Nice.
Buddy's a lightweight. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, like that actually kind of reminds me because in the part where he does go to the mailroom scene, to the mailroom, like he actually like inspires a lot of people to and like what was it exactly like they were playing a game or whatever. But like that scene though, like where he's just like in the mailroom and like people are like singing and like they're excited and they're more dynamic and all that sort of thing. And I think that actually it kind of speaks to one of the big character qualities of Buddy is that he's kind of like a torch for the Christmas spirit, so to speak. Like that's kind of like a bit cliche that like all these Christmas movies are put out there, but that's kind of the key thing is like Buddy's the one who like he saves Santa or he helps save Santa and like restores Christmas in that type of sense, and he's the one who like impacts his father and stops him from being such like a workaholic and like ignoring his family. So I think that is actually more one of the bigger messages is that like Buddy, like his character is kind of like what changes people around him. And if we kind of want to like take a lesson, so to speak, from that, is that's kind of what we're called to do, as Christians, is that like maybe not like, cause people to like sing and dance in that sort of sense, but it is the idea that like, we're supposed to be like the hands and feet of God, to be ambassadors, that sort of thing. So we are supposed to have some sort of like change or to inspire some change in people around us, whether those are Christians or not Christians.
Bars. I aspire to be as contagiously joyful as Buddy. I think contagiously joyful is a very good description of how Buddy is. I think just especially around the Christmas season, we remember that the reason for the season is Jesus. And Jesus came into the world, he died, and he rose again during Easter, which isn't the focus of Christmas. But yes, we have so much reason to be joyful because of the life that Jesus lived. And that's not something that we're supposed to keep to ourselves. The Great Commission is literally that we need to go and spread the word and spread the joy of this good news that has been given to all the people. And what better way to do that than with just ton of energy like Buddy has. Probably not as much syrup in the coffee, though. I don't think we'll be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally why we sing Joy to the World.
Yeah. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Yeah, I got to give it to you there. My church this morning did Joy to the World, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee medley that Phil Wickham released. That's one of my favorites. But you're right. Spread contagious joy. Don't take life so seriously like Buddy does. Because honestly, life's fun. And have fun living.
There's a time and a place for everything. Yeah. And I would argue that more than not, we choose to be stressed and angry and just have a lot of negative energy on a lot of situations that in reality we just need to remember the joy that we have in Christ and spread that rather than trying to spread anger or frustration or anything. And I think that's what we're called as Christians to do is there's a time for stuff like that, yes, but we're supposed to be the light of the world. You can't be light when you're so clouded in your own negative emotions. Not that emotions are bad, but being able to understand when the right time to use some of those things is a struggle that is throughout the entire human life. But it's good to get on that,
And you guys really carried this episode. Thank you.
Well, yeah, clearly you didn't have anything, happy to say.
My shoulders are so tired. My shoulders can't take it. Trap cramp.
From carrying this episode.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, bars, some may say. And speaking of bars, make sure you grab your merch. I was wearing the Bible Equals Bars shirt last week. I just put stickers on the store. So these little stickers that you can put on like your water bottle or something. That were pretty cool.
You did it, guys! World's best cup of coffee. Good job. That's such a good. Sorry, so this whole time we've been doing this episode, I've been like playing through it mentally in my head. I just got to the part where he's in the bathroom stall and he looks over and he's like, "Guys, have you seen these toilets? They're ginormous." Good time.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to buy your merch. Check out our social media and our Discord server. We got some good conversation over there, and it's super fun all the time because that's what we do here. We vibe, we ball, we have fun for Jesus.
Bars.
We need a tagline, and it's not that. I promise you, it's not that. It just made me think of that. Where faith. This is what I wrote down. How about this? Tagline idea. Where faith defines film.
Something there. There's something there.
One-Eyed Film Podcast, where faith defines film. We'll workshop it.
Where faith meets film. Where faith leads to an analysis of film.
Film followers. For sure.
I'm done. You guys are too much. We'll see you next week. Know that you're loved. God bless.
Peace out, brother.
No, wait. What
Bye,
were you gonna
buddy.
say?
Hope you find your dad.
There it is.
There it is. Bye, guys.